Hi everyone, this is Maggie. Thank you for stopping by to see me. This evening, it's actually evening for me. This evening I'm going to be working on a idea book. I mentioned in my last video that there was a couple of projects besides the current journal that I'm going to be starting probably tomorrow, which will be Friday. I'm pretty sure it'll be Friday. I'm filming this in advance. It's actually Monday evening for me. But I just am trying to I like to be a little bit ahead on my videos. It makes it a little bit easier for me in case something comes up or, you know how life is. Life just happens and when we least expect it. So lately I've been keeping a few pieces. I had this huge Amazon envelope. And then I had a humongous, it wouldn't even fit here in the area on my desk, on my mat. And for the life of me, I can't remember what they sent to me in such a large envelope, but I do think sometimes Amazon does tend to maybe be a little bit wasteful with their packaging because they will put a pad of paper or something else in this huge box, and I'm sure it must run up the shipping cost, but apparently they have their own reasons for doing what they do. So I've saved a couple of envelopes. This is one of them. The other half I am going to save perhaps for a second book or something else. I don't know, another journal of some type. And I did cut it open, and this is just half of it, so there is another half that I can use. Plus, I've been hanging on to a sheets of shipping paper, the brown crinkly paper. I really have come to enjoy using that. And so I've hung on to a piece every once in a while because, again, I just don't have room to store a lot of that extra stuff. So I'm glad I had this because I think it'll be good for the type of journal I want to make. It'll be an idea book when I learn something new, or even I think of something new. I can make it and put it in here and then refer back to it. I know you've seen many YouTubers do the exact same thing. And I should have started when I first started making junk journals and putting all the things that I've learned from different creators in there, because I would have a plethora of things by now. But, Johnny come lately. I come to the party late. But it doesn't matter. I'm coming now. So I cut this down to a little over 12 inches, maybe 12 and a half to make sure there's room in the center, because I know that'll take up some space, by 9 inches tall. And I went through my papers. These mostly need to be cut down as well. Let me set this aside for now. We don't need it just yet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out a couple of pieces of scrapbook paper from one of my pads that just is single-sided, something I like. I'm going to put one on each side, the front and the back, and then I'm going to sew around it, which I think will be good. So let's put this aside, and these are the papers that I have. They are in no order, absolutely no order. So this is a page out of a map book that I purchased on Amazon. I wanted some map paper, but I really wouldn't recommend this necessarily. It's just the maps are very out of focus, and yeah, I don't know, but I thought I could put it in here. I'm just going to be covering it up anyway. And actually, I might pull another one out and put this one in the Paris journal, because this is a great big map of France right here in the middle. So I'm going to pull this one out and set it aside for now. I'll draw another piece of paper out of that book in just a minute. This is a page from a children's poetry book. This is a page out of another children's book. I think it was an edition of Disney's Wonderful World of Nature or something. I just randomly pulled a page. It's not something I'm ever going to use. This was out of a botany book. And this is a Fisher. I've never heard of a Fisher before. And then I pulled another page out as well. I think I might have pulled this one by accident, but anyway, these are northern flying squirrels. Isn't that interesting? They have the wingspan just like a bat does. Okay, and this is out of a garden book. This is another page out of the garden book. I've got a couple of pieces of lined paper. These are some scraps from another paper. They are small, but I think that they will be just fine for what I'm going to use it for. Just something to put something on a, you know, something on it for. Oh, and this is supposed to be for Paris journal, small papers that I found. I'm going to put a few pieces of this children's drawing paper in here. I really like this paper a lot, and I think it'll be kind of fun to use in it. Yes, there's 3 pieces here. This came out of that children's. Oh, this was an old book that I had to about doing watercolors of animals, and I pulled this elephant page out. Again, it happened to be random, but I do really like elephants. And this is a cow, I guess, some sort of beef. And I love this one. I love the lion. But they show you in this book how you can draw do a rough drawing of the image and then begin to color it in. Not color it, but watercolor it in, and then with the different colors you should use. There's a tiger. This is from a quilt pattern that I intended to make. I don't think I ever made this one, but it's called the Little Genius Quilt. Quilt done in a day. Oh yeah, these were for smaller quilts. There was like a few of them. I think this lady was on, I don't think YouTube, but anyway, I found this down in the other room we have, so I said I'm going to take that and use it. It's white. There's a lot of white pages, but I'm hoping that doesn't matter too much because I can either put something on them, something I made, a piece of ephemera, or I can just stencil them or something, or stamp them. This is a page out of a coloring book, a really nice coloring book of women's fashions. The paper is, I believe it's like almost like watercolor paper on this side. It just feels like that. It's quite heavy as cardstock goes. How big is this? Yeah, this is going to have to be trimmed down, so we're going to lose something there. This was from another coloring book. Doing color books, my mouth is dry. I'm going to get something to drink. Doing coloring books is what led me to do water painting. But I have a lot of unfinished pages, so I took a couple of different ones. I thought I had another one. A couple of different ones and tore a couple of pages out to use this page. This is just something I got from the Veterans Administration on some instructions about naming something. It doesn't have my name or any identifying information. It was just for to reference to. Couple of junk gel envelopes. I've got a bag from my pharmacy that I got some prescriptions in. These are just random pieces of paper that came in a pack, but I'm going to use those. This paper was, as you can see, it's lined. It was meant to be the backing of another, of a journal page. But I think this was like an extra one. It's just something I didn't need. This is a piece of background paper that I printed for another journal. I just printed it on one side, so there's white on that side. This is a, I think I used the other part of this page to collage with, but it was in my scraps, so I pulled it out and said I'll use that. These two are half pages from two pieces of scrap paper I used to make a project. This was a extra double-sided background page that I printed. Now the interesting thing to me was, and I don't understand why the printer does this, on this side it left a border all the way around, and this comes from the same kit, and it printed side to side. Now my computer is a borderless printer, so I don't know why on some pieces it always leaves a border. This was just an extra page from the library journal, and then I've got a couple of pieces of packing paper that I love. So I think what I'm going to do next is go into this paper pad that I have here. I believe that's the one, my picker-upper that I use for when I drop stuff that I can't reach. Let me get it out of the way. Sorry for the racket. I'm going to move a couple of things in order to get to it. I pile stuff on top of piles of stuff, and then I wonder why some things take me so much time and I can't get to what I want more easily. So here we go. So this is just a this is a paper pad from Paper Studio that I bought at Hobby Lobby. I know it was on sale when I purchased it because I would not have paid $21 for it full price. So I need to find a couple of pages that might work for this. I don't want anything too fancy. I don't want anything that's really fancy. Whoops. I do kind of like this page. But I want one for the front and one for the back. Oh, this is different. It's just a different color. No, it's different. It's different altogether. But it reminds me of this one, but they're different. Some of these are so pretty. You know, maybe, oh, I kind of like this one too. Maybe I could put this one on the, well, I'll use this on one side or the other. I don't know if you can see it. Green is pretty too, and there's green butterflies and what have you on there. What else do we have? I hope that you had a good day. Oh, this might work. I put this on the outside and this on the inside. So when I glue these papers down, I'm not going to glue them really sticky. Well, this kind of matches that page a little bit with these little flowers, at least one of the flowers. I think I'm going to put this on the inside. I really do like this paper pad because there's such a variety of designs. And even though I won't typically use it for a page in my journal, it's wonderful for decorating and, you know, doing stuff like this. Oh, I didn't realize this was in here. I might be able to use that. in my Paris journal instead of using fabric on the inside. This is kind of interesting. It's got some staining on it. All right, we'll see. I'm not quite ready, not quite there yet with that. But I probably will be by tomorrow, or by the time you see this video the next day. All right, so where is my cover? Right here. So I am going to put this, oh, this is a little short because I made it 12.5 inches. All right, I'm just gonna cut the 1/2 inch off because I don't want to, I mean, I could definitely collage this, which would be a great idea, but I don't think I'm just not in the mood to do that right now. I love to collage, but I've been doing quite a bit of it lately, so. Whoops. What happened here? What happened? Let's try this again. See if this works. Oh, today when I was showing the pages for the Paris journal, there was one picture, and I said it's a triangular or diamond shape. It's triangular from the outside, but and that's not what it's called because it's in all different sides. It's very pretty, all glass. And I said that was the Van Gogh, but it's not. Van Gogh is in Amsterdam, which we did have the privilege of going to see. What that picture of in one of the journal pages was actually the Louvre. And I texted my daughter and I said, Alina, that glass structure in Paris that we went to, was that the Louvre or was it the Van Gogh Museum? And she says Van Gogh, I mean the Louvre, because Van Gogh is in Amsterdam. I said, okay. Why is this just a little short? I'm not going to worry about it. You know why? Because I'm going to sew down the edges. And I can always maybe put, I just hate to, oh, that's sticking out though. This is 12 inches long. Paper must not be quite 12 inches long, right? Well, it measures. Oh well, I'm just going to go with it. Have mercy. Have mercy on me. Okay, I'm just going to glue this down and try to get it as straight as I can, and I'm just going to cut it off. Alright, so let's put some glue in here. I think I can use Fabri-Tac. No, this isn't Fabri-Tac. I'm going to use the my white glue. It's not Elmer's, but it's just like Elmer's, the PVA. Now, my daughter told me that I should do like an ASMR video. And this one would probably been a good one for that. I have watched a couple of other people that do that, and I kind of enjoy them. I wouldn't want to watch them all the time, but once in a while I think they would be great. They're great. And she's, Mom, going to do that. And I said, well, I'll think about it. I don't know if there's anybody listening that can comment on that and let me know what you think about that ASMR. Please let me know. 'Cause I wouldn't mind doing that. I think it would be fun. Just not on a regular basis. Now, Maybe I'll use my trimmer. Cut this off first. I know I could tear this, but I'm going to use my trimmer. Maybe I'll get a more even cut, and then can also square this up a little bit, and it won't be sticking. The brown bag won't be sticking over the edge. Let us see. So there's a piece we can use for collage later. And if the papers don't fit exactly precisely, you know, it's a junk journal. And it's for me. Not that we shouldn't take care with our junk journals. That's not what I mean at all. I just mean it's okay if they're not perfect. Because if they had to be perfect, I think a good portion of us would have a very hard time achieving that. In all honesty, I know I would. You know, I just got to be honest and say that. I know I watched this channel a lot, Emily's Crochet and Craft, or it could be the other way around, Emily's Craft and Crochet. And she does, she doesn't do them every day, the ASMR type video, but she does do them, seems like on a regular basis. And I do enjoy watching them. The ink wasn't dry and it tore up the edge of the paper. Oh, that's okay, I can deal with that. Maybe my stitching will disguise it. So I don't know if other people like that or not. I am very, even at my age, I'm very ignorant about some things, and ASMR was one of them. I kept watching this one lady's haul videos, and she was constantly talking about ASMR. And of course, me, if I don't know something, I usually look it up. But for some reason, I didn't with the ASMR. I just kind of let it go by me. And then it started popping up in other places. And I said, what does this mean? What's this all about? So I looked it up because I always have to satisfy my curiosity. I'm a very curious person. My daughter calls me nosy, but I don't think I'm nosy. I just tell her I'm very curious, which is the absolute truth. I am a very curious person. Always have been my whole life. Maybe I'm not going to put quite as much glue on this since I am going to sew it. I decided not to get close to the edge on this one because it is going to be sewed around the edges. And make sure because they both are directional, so I just want to make sure I've got them going in the right direction. Hopefully I can get this on here straight as I possibly can. Put the old glasses on, Maggie. Oh, I'm going to take these glasses off. Okay, I've got two pairs of glasses now, one for far and one for close. Because I had Progressive, my last eyeglass prescription, I did not like them at all. I ended up just using readers and barely using the Progressive. I just didn't like them. I got headaches from them, and the close-up part never really worked for me because you constantly have to kind of reposition your eyes, and so it wasn't my thing. I didn't like it. So this time I said, no, I want 2 prescriptions. I want one for close and one for far. And to be honest, I waited a long time to get my prescription filled. I had my eye exam last August, and I just recently got my prescription filled, and I'm due to have another eye exam in August. So, and I do feel like my eyes have changed. So what I decided to do is, I had a bunch of old frames, most of them barely used, and so I asked the eyeglass place where we go if I could please use some old frames, you know, because I don't typically wear, I don't need to wear my distance ones all the time, but I do wear them part of the time because if my eyes feel strained or anything, I definitely will wear them. So I found a couple old pairs of frames. I think that one pair, I got that glass prescription filled back in 2000 or right around there, about the time I had my laser surgery on my eyes. And they're still in excellent condition. I mean, they're like brand new. And the lady said, these glasses are nice, you know. I said, well, I was hoping to be able to use them because I really am not ready to buy the whole kit and caboodle just by itself. The frames were expensive enough, and that's because I said, I don't want all the coatings and all the extra fancy things on there. So I'm going to let this dry a bit, and then maybe I'll turn the camera off and sew this up around here, but I do want this to dry. Okay, so in the meantime, let's cut some of these pages down, make sure they're going to fit. I know that these are going to be okay. I'm just going to fold these in half. I'm not sure how many pages I have here, but if I manage to fill it up, that's why I decided not to go with the 2 signature. I said, no, I'm just going to do one. That'll probably be plenty for me for the time being. If I can find even this much interactive environment, you know what I mean. I'll be in 7th heaven. Now my last journal, the library one that I just finished, I did not put a waterfall in that. I wanted to, but, and I like the waterfall best with the mechanism, but I like them both either way. And I didn't put it in because I didn't want the journal to be too bulky. And I know some of these are from a kit, but that's okay because I'm hoping they will be covered up at any rate. Let me set this up, not lay stuff on it so it can dry here. I don't want my machine, it's just an inexpensive Brother. A very basic model, but I do trust Brother. My daughter and I both had Brothers. She still has hers. I gave mine to my granddaughter when she was 16 for her 16th birthday because she said she wanted to learn how to sew. She may have played with it a little bit, but I don't know that she actually took to sewing. And then that sewing machine, apparently when she married and moved out of the house, she left that sewing machine behind. And my grandson's girlfriend wanted a sewing machine for her birthday because she's very interested in sewing. And so Jacob was going to give that to her, but he did check with me to make sure that that was all right. And I said, Jacob, as long as it was okay with Annie, I gave it to Annie as a, because it was literally a brand new machine almost. I hadn't used it that long, but I had just received, I had not received, but I just bought a Janome, which I love that sewing. I really love that sewing machine. And that's not the sewing machine I have in here. I tried to do that, but it's just too big. There's no convenient place for me to set it, and moving it around by myself, even though it's not super heavy, can be a little bit of a challenge at times. So I decided to just get this. I got it on sale at on Walmart.com. Oh my goodness, my mouth is dry. Walmart.com. And I like it. I kind of trust Brother. I have my scanning cat, of course, is a Brother. My current printer is a Brother. And I like both of those products. I think before I sew it in, I'll open up this end of that bag. Who knows, I might not put all of this in there. I think this needs to be glued shut. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this handy dandy glue stick. I'm sorry, just a moment. Hi, I'm back. Sorry about that. I was a little afraid something like that might happen. We were supposed to get thunderstorms this evening, but I think what they actually heard was some bird out there. We have a lot of interesting birds in our neighborhood. Kind of startled them, and they just started yapping, and when one goes, then they all go, you know. So I was having a little bit of trouble quieting them down, so I decided to go ahead and sew around the cover while I was trying to calm the beast. They're not really beasts, but you know, if you have animals, pets of any kind, you can probably relate to that. My dogs, unfortunately, are not well, they're not well mannered. Let me just put it like that. They are all pretty smart in their own way. They all have their own challenges for various reasons. Not one of these three dogs except Annabelle did I get as a puppy, but she was a rescue. And both of my female dogs are getting up there. Well, the male, the youngest one, is no spring chicken anymore either. He's 6. I know this one's going to need to be cut down, and I hate to do it. I probably shouldn't have pulled her out of the book. Pulled the girls out of the book. But I can just cut off their feet, I guess. This book is so nice because these are almost like sketches, pencil sketches. That's what they kind of look like. And then you just either, you know, you can use regular colored pencils, or you can use watercolor pencils, or you can use watercolor or whatever you want. Like I said, this is nice paper. But let me see how big this is before I... So this is... Mm, 12.5 inches long. And a little more, 8 3/4. So let me just trim this down. Actually, I'm not going to have to trim too much off of it. After all, my mouth is still as dry as the desert. I lived in Southern California for many years growing up, and we were in a hot, arid area that was just like bordering onto the desert and the high mountains. And so whenever we traveled anywhere, we almost always, unless we were going down up to Northern California, we had to go through the desert. But when I was a very young child, we were living in Tennessee, and my father, we were staying with his parents actually. And my father came home from work one day and told my mom, without any forewarning, we're moving to California, get packed. And my mom was like, what are you talking about? My mother was born and raised, I think, she was an orphan in West Virginia, and I think she may have lived in Ohio for a while. That's where she met my father. But after they got married, they lived in Ohio for a while, and then they went to Tennessee to be with my husband's parents. So I need this to be... Oh, Maggie, what are you doing here? I need this to be 8.5 inches. So, but yeah, he came home from work one day, and my mother's name was Annabelle. He says, Annabelle, get packed. And she was like, what are you talking about? And he said, we're moving to California. So off we went. I don't know how long it took after he told her for us to actually leave, because I was, really no more than a toddler, actually. I think I was about 4 years old. And so off we left for California. I don't know if he thought he was going to find what he was going to find there. I think, actually, he had 2 sisters that lived in Southern California. And they may have asked him to come out because he was the only boy. He was the youngest, I do believe. And there were 3 or 4 sisters. So that wasn't too bad. Didn't have to trim too much off of the old gals. So we went out there, sure enough. But on the way, I remember him stopping to get gas at this gas station. And the attendant, they still were filling your gas tanks in for your charge. And the attendant told my father, he said, you better make sure you've got gas in this car and water for the radio. Water for the radio. Oh, goodness sakes. Water for the radio. No, water for the radiator. Because he says you're going to be out in the Mojave Desert and there's nothing for miles and miles. Matter of fact, he said this is the last place where you can get those things until you get across to the other side, or till you hit some civilization. And I remember he had this water bag that he filled with water. I'll never forget it. I mean, some images just stick in your mind no matter how old you get or how long it's been since they happened. And that was an image that stuck with me. Okay, so I just should have kept that cutter out. It's easy to be trimmed. I think after I trim these papers off, I'm going to, I'm not going to sew the signature in tonight. I'm getting tired when I start saying ratty radiator. I'm in trouble. Oh, this needs to be 12 inches. No, it needs to be 11 inches long. I'm going to take some off the top and the bottom. I do this when I'm trying to trim paper. I don't want to take it all off one end sometimes, so I switch it back and forth till I get off what I want. This needs to be 11 inches. Oh, it needs to be 12 inches. Maggie, watch what you're doing. Pay attention. 12 inches. I'm going to trim this one down while I've got the cutter. So he had everything he needed, and off we went. Just the three of us, my mom, my dad, and the water bag, and me. I was an only child for the first 4 years of my life. And then after we were in California for not too long, she may have even, my mother may have even been pregnant for my sister when we left Tennessee. She very well could have been, but I'm not exactly sure of when we left Tennessee, to be honest. So, I could be way off in left field if I hazard a guess about that. But anyway, it wasn't too terribly long after we got settled in California that my sister was born. And then 2 years later, I had a baby brother. I still call him my baby brother to this day, even though I'm only 5'4", and I think he's 6'4", but now that he's older, a little bit older, he may have shrunk a little bit. I still call him my baby brother, and I love him still to this day so much. My sister passed away about 8 years ago, which was really sad. But anyway, that's how it goes. It doesn't look right to me. It doesn't. I knew it. It's too tall. Alright, well, we're just going to trim this on my guillotine. I don't really care how. Although I do love the image of this tiger. I'm just going to trim these borders off, and that should be good enough, I hope. Even a little bit too long. Well, so at least I got my cover stitched around. It's not perfectly straight, but it really is, and I tried to square this off and got a little too close to the edge. I hope I didn't break the threads so they might come loose, but if so, I'll just redo it. Now I know I could have left part of the bag showing and covered it up a different way. But I decided not to. I thought of other things, but I thought, you know, this is going to be an idea book. I'm pretty much just going to be seeing it myself and sharing it with you when I work in it or I have something to put in it. So I'm not going to really stress about how I did it. I know other people do them their way, and I did it this way. I don't know. Maybe I won't use these. These are going to be kind of skinny. I think I'll just save those. Get some of this notebook paper in there, and I should maybe trim all this off or it's going to be shedding. So again, I hope you're all doing good. I hope if it's in the evening or nighttime for you when you see this, that you had a good day. You're satisfied with your day. And if it's nighttime for you and you're either going to bed soon or whatever the case may be that you get a restful night's sleep. Which granted for a lot of people, including myself, I tend to have some sort of insomnia that makes it difficult for me to sleep all the night through. I've been like that for many, many years. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. That's good. Oh, I hate to admit how tired I am right now. I don't know why. I thought I did sleep pretty good last night. But I have kept myself pretty busy all day. We had such a lovely time at church yesterday. This is only our 4th time of attending the church. And we just found the church, actually. My daughter did. I shouldn't say we. My daughter did. And we really, really like it. And yesterday they were having a family, it's called the McNeil Project, sing at the church. And they sing in the early service and then the second service. And we went to the second service because of the baby. You know, my daughter isn't quite in the routine yet of when she needs to be up and get the little one going and get herself going. So the 11:30 service works better for us. And do you know this baby? You're not going to believe me. I know you won't believe me. She's only 4 months old, but she was the best baby. Again, every time we've been there, she's been as precious can be. And she loved watching these musicians. She watched their movements. She watched what they were doing. And I'll be honest, I was just astonished, really, because granted, my children were good in church when they were small, but they went to the nursery when they were of that age, that they needed to be in the nursery, and then they went to children's church until my daughter, the one that lives here with the baby, decided she didn't want to go to children's church anymore, and she went to the sanctuary. But both of them knew that if they misbehaved in church, they would pay a price for it. And my husband was not fooling around, so they were both good in church, but they really weren't in there as babies that much. But she has been just perfect. She had started getting maybe a little antsy before they started singing, but when they started singing, she was antsy before they started, but when they started, she was all eyes and ears. She's got these big greenish gray eyes, and when she's really like wow about something, her eyes get even bigger. But she was good the whole time that they sang. It was just so sweet. It really was. So that was good. And then my daughter and I went out for lunch afterwards, and had a nice time together. So the cover is sewn around. This glue didn't dry yet in the middle, so the paper's kind of buckled over a little bit on me, but again, I'm not going to worry about it. I will probably try to trim off in a couple of other places where I see an issue, but maybe I'll use my rotary cutter for that. Let's just count the pages I have, and then I'm going to get off for tonight. I'll sew this in my next one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 29, 30, 31, 32. Well, that's a good bit of pages, but I believe I can sew it in. So, dear ones, I'm going to say good night. For me, it's good night. It might be good morning for you, and if it is morning when you watch this, then have a beautiful day. And do the rest of the things that I need to do, and go to bed and hope to get a good night's rest, and I'll be back in the next bit. See, I'm tired. I really can't talk anymore. I'm sorry. No, I enjoyed doing this, and I'm really looking forward to getting it sewed in and actually starting to put stuff in here. So that will be fun. And I want to just tell you all, thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Bye-bye.